Hey everybody, Nick here, and tonight we're going to do a little bit of disassembly and maintenance. Tonight we're looking at this guy right here. This is the Spyderco Beta Carry Magnitude, the sequel to the Rubicon. So of course I gotta mention, it's a Spyderco, so disassembling the knife voids the factory warranty. They tend to try and take care of people, but that's still ugly, and that is still something you're going to have to keep in mind. This is not a path for the faint of heart. So we're going to go ahead and take this guy down. Also, I am probably going to refer to this guy as the Amplitude during the course of this review. Not review, well, during the review too, but this disassembly. Because magnitude and amplitude are roughly the same in my field, and, yeah. So that ain't happening. So I'm going to go ahead and take the scale screws off here. These are coming off no trouble. However, the pivots on this guy has a huge amount of a white permanent thread locker. Spyderco has been doing this a lot lately. It's ugly as sin. There was actually a big forum post. I mean, look at this. It's ugly. There was a big post on Spyderco's forums about it, about their recent red Loctite problems, and they very pointedly did not chime in on that, so that's a little bit ugly and unfortunate, but that's life. So there we go, taking this guy down. We've got it apart already. There's not a whole lot to this knife, except that's interesting. So right here, we've got ourselves a bearing race. And one thing I want to point out, this fell out of this side, so the bearing race goes against the scale here. You're also going to notice that the bearing race is slightly concave. It's worn in by the bearings, and the dirty side is there. So we want the concave side facing the bearings. That makes sense, but it is something you're going to want to keep in mind. So let's go ahead and proceed disassembling here. There's not a whole lot to this knife, but what's there is nicely done. There we go. That's popped out. Whoa there. That's dirty. All right, well, I'm glad I'm here. I'm going to be able to do this knife some good. Holy crap, is this thing dirty. Yikes. All right, let's go ahead and just start with the takedown here. This side, this side. Here's the deal. I could very easily take the take the pocket clip off and also remove these screws over here in order to fully separate this. But the thing is, this is a titanium liner we got going on here. Behind it is flat out carbon fiber. There's very, very little need to remove the, as far as I'm concerned, to remove this other scale. The titanium is not going to rust particularly. There's nothing that needs to be cleaned and maintained back there. And by removing that, we just run the risk of stripping these screws over here. And I'm seeing, just on top of this here, I'm seeing some blue Loctite. So I'm just not going to mess with this. So I'm going to leave it in this current situation as it is right now. But I went ahead and took off the backspacer just so I can forget and put it in the wrong direction. Nick of the future, the backspacer, this little kind of polygonal part up here, faces forward. Polygonal. Did I really use that term? Alrighty. So I did. I'm going to go ahead and get a little patch here wet with a 91% rubbing alcohol, isopropyl. Pop that guy out. And I'm just going to use my little Torx driver here. No, I'm not. It's not thin enough. I'm going to use, here we are, a little watch spring bar tool, which I use as an oiler, and overall little proddy affair for my disassemblies. And I'm just going to pop that guy out of there. There we go. And on this guy, again, there's a concave side, and that's going to face your bearing race. I'm sorry, it's going to face your bearings. So, okay. Let's go ahead and just start the cleaning process here. Pretty straightforward. This looks to be either, I don't know if they put Sharpie on here, whether they carbonized the lock face. I mean, take a look at that. That's not, maybe it's just dirty. I don't know. Well, whatever it is, I'm cleaning it off. Yeah, I don't really know what's up with that. Could be remains of old lubricants. It doesn't seem to be coming off, so no real harm there. Moving it along. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, and now that this scale is cleaned, I'll go ahead and clean the other scale while I'm at it, and just wiping this guy down here. Not a whole lot of need to do this, and again, because this is titanium, I'm not super concerned about, There's not a whole lot that can go wrong with this. I do like this finish on the titanium. It's some kind of a dark stonewashed sort of finish. It's nice. It matches the carbon fiber. Wipe down the inside of the CF here. You can see, by the way, that this is a solid carbon fiber chunk. There's a pattern to it, and the pattern matches the outside, unlike a lot of Spyderco's other carbon fiber. You've also got this little pin here whose sole purpose is to stabilize, well, these two actually, to further stabilize the carbon fiber against the liner. Nice. It's not something I feel like they needed to do. Like, I wouldn't say if that wasn't there, this is badly made. But it is a nice thing that they did. It will improve a little bit the overall stability of the entire affair here. So that's nice. Go ahead and switch to a new pad here. Not pad, but little swatch. Patch. That's the term I want here. Patch. All right, just wiping this guy off, making sure I'm getting the stop pin channel, making sure I'm cleaning off the, well, basically making sure I'm cleaning the whole damn thing off pretty good. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This guy has definitely seen some use. So I own this knife at the moment. Well, at the moment, that's a little bit of a sneak preview for the review now, ain't it? No, I mean, I picked this guy up in a deal from my buddy Ovan, got a decent enough price on it, and so that's nice. And so this is mine, but you know, chances are it's not going to be mine forever. I don't think it's yet found its forever home. Is there really such a thing as a forever home in knives? I feel like most people who watch this channel are chronically, well, they tend to jump around a fair bit, shall we say. There's always the next new thing that they're after. It's kind of sad in some ways. I balk on occasion at my channel's existence because it is a heavy promoter of a consumer culture. You know, I want to always advocate to people that your next knife isn't the thing that's going to make you happy. I mean, yeah, it might make you happy, but it's not going to make you happy in that sort of a grand, you know, sense of just putting some more booze onto this, and I'm going to clean the bearings, by the way. It's not going to make you happy in the capital H sense. You're not going to reach enlightenment. You're not going to be, you know, no one piece of equipment, no combination thereof is going to make you truly happy. Happiness is something you need to find within yourself. Whether or not you got a nice knife on you, nice watch, that kind of thing. Am I happier now that I'm wearing an expensive watch? Omega Aquaterra. I'm a jackass for showing that off. No, not necessarily. Do I enjoy it? Why, yes. Yes, I do. So, you know, there's a role, but I always feel a little bit strange. I don't want to advocate a consumer culture. But here I am advocating consumer culture. Alrighty, that's enough of a rant going on there. Wow, back at the ranch. What I'm doing here is putting a Q-tip, and I put some booze on it, and I'm going to go ahead and go inside this. This is an important step because it gets whatever gunk was inside the pivot hole itself out. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the liners here, although that shouldn't be a big thing really because it's got a fixed liner, but you'll sometimes get some gunk in there, trapped. Alrighty. There's that. How are my bearings doing? Do I want to give these more love, or are they okay? I think they're okay. So, with that, we're actually good to put this guy back together here. So, let's do that. I am going to go ahead just because when I first put my finger in there, there was a fair amount of the gunk and black that came off of it. I'm actually wondering whether this guy might have been Sharpied. I'm just using a permanent marker here, and this just reduces the amount of overall lock stick that you get in the knife. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of this. It's not been a lock sticky knife, but it's not something that tends to cause problems, even if it isn't. So there you go. This pivot here, you can see, has got a flat portion. This part here has a flat portion as well. So I want to make sure that I'm putting the pivot in the correct direction. Pardon me. You can also see, by the way, that the other opposing liner does not have that flat portion, so you want to make sure it goes in this way. I'm going to be using your 10 weight nano oil here for this because, well, why the heck not, right? And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of that oil onto the pivot before I reinsert it. The reason I say this is because, whoa there, that will, the insertion here will actually distribute that, and it will also put a little bit onto the head of the screw. And that's kind of a nice thing because it will help to resist rust in the future here. So, there's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop a bearing race into there. The show side... Yeah, the presentation side washer race was a little bit less dented than the other one. Do I think it matters? No, but it might. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I probably should have kept them isolated, but I just happened to remember that the bearing race insert here on the show side, I'm sorry, on the lock side was a little bit less dented, so I'm going to do that here. Go ahead and drop in your bearing here. I've applied a little bit of oil to the bearing race, so I'm just going to rotate the bearing, and that should distribute the oil, if not perfectly evenly, but evenly enough across the bearings here. And it'll distribute itself a little bit more as we proceed with the assembly. I'm going to go ahead and drop on my back spacer, and I've, made sure that I'm in the right direction here. This little part sloping down in there. At least so I think. Last time I took one of these guys apart, I did it the wrong way, so it was the Rubicon, but still. Anyways, never going to let myself live that one down. That's okay. No harm done. Just spreading a little bit more of the oil across here, a little bit inside the... I'm running this a little wet. That's okay. Sorry, he just kicked on. Just spreading this guy along the detent ball path here. Beautiful. You can see there's a little bit of a detent ball ramp. They've ground down one side of the blade and they haven't on the other side there. Nice. Nice little thing. That's really wet. I have made a mistake. I'm going to sop up some of that. I mean, there's wet and then there's... holy crap. All right. Still a little wet, but that's okay. Okay, did I not clean? No, I didn't clean the stop pin. I have now cleaned the stop pin. Problem solved. Case closed. Dunk dunk. In the classical Law and Order sense. Okay, gonna go ahead and drop some nano oil onto the bearing race here. This is, again, running a little wet, but I'm gonna use the bearing to distribute that. Let's see here. I don't see a good side versus a bad side, so I'll just put that on there, spin it nice and good. Now, next step is going to be, I'm going to do a little bit more lubricating of this little guy here. That was a lot of lubricating. Again, my nano oil applicator is going freaking crazy here. It's a little out of control, actually. May that be my biggest problem this week. But okay, there we go. That's dropped on there. And I put it onto that rather than trying to drop it into here just because I know that it'll be in the right position there. It won't get crunched by anything. So there we go. Drop this on. This is not wanting to seat itself, so what I'm going to do is just release the lock bar. There we go. Now everything drops into place. This guy, the screw is poked out a little bit, so the torque, when I screw the other side back in, will remount that. Am I forgetting anything? There's a stop pin. That's nice. These holes are for these little carbon fiber aligners over here. All right. Let's go ahead and grab some Loctite and put this thing back together. So I am going to use a little bit of the blue Loctite here. The blue, not the red, not the Spyderco stuff. This stuff is designed to be removable. I rant about this every single time. I'm a broken record, I'm aware, but Loctite, you need to use the right stuff here. So I put a little bit onto there, and I'm just going to very carefully screw this in here. I'm removing tension from the lock bar at the moment just to make sure it, goes in there, and I've just got that kind of tightened. Not going all the way in there. These screws didn't actually have Loctite when I pulled them off of there. which is fine. I'm gonna put a little bit in there just because I tend to be an advocate for a little bit of the blue stuff. Tends to make things just a little harder for the screws to fall out. There we go, tighten that down. This is a pretty straightforward knife to take down, honestly. If I don't start ranting about the, meanings of life and happiness, very, very straightforward. I should rant about the meaning of life and happiness more often. I don't know anything about it, but by God, it sounds intelligent, right? Probably not. Okay, that's pretty damn good, but I'm going to lock this down a little further. No, that's fully locked down. Lock is a little bit sticky at the moment. Wow. That's good and sticky. It'll wear in. But I'm going to apply a little bit more of the Sharpie to the tang of the blade here. If I can get the you little bugger. No, I can't get the Sharpie in there. So what I'm going to do is after I finish this video, I'm going to go into the kitchen and I'm going to find a fine point Sharpie and I'm just going to hit that surface a little bit more. I don't think it's a huge deal. In fact, let me, just on a hunch here, sop up. Maybe I got some oil onto the lock face. Sometimes that causes that stick. Okay, it's calming itself down. But look, the action on this guy is spectacular now. I mean, it's a good action. It was a good action to start with, but holy crap, that's pretty nice. This is one of the better flippers Spyderco has ever produced. It's a damn good flipper by any other standard, too. Wow. So, there we go. Little bit of degunking can go a long way with a knife like this. Anyways, I hope this has been interesting to you, that you find happiness in whatever way you see fit to do so, and that if you have a Rubicon, this isn't the Rubicon, this is the amplitude. No, this is not the amplitude, this is the magnitude. Damn it. Not a brilliant man. But anyways, if you like this knife, I hope this helps you maintain it. Frankly, if you don't like this knife, I hope it helps you maintain it too. But there we go. Have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.